Welcome to another Pilates session. For this class you need your strap, and you might find it really handy to have just a folded up towel there, and then you can kind of fold or unfold it as much as you need. In this session we're going to be doing some abdominal exercises, and if you feel that you're arching your lower back or your pelvis is moving around a little bit, it might be really handy to pop a towel under your pelvis just to try and anchor it and hold it still. I'll tell you about that when we get to that exercise, so grab those and we're going to start lying down. Okay, morning Linda. Okay, so we're just going to start lying down, knees bent, feet flat, just allowing your body to settle. Starting to just become aware of your breath, maybe starting to slow your breath down a little bit. Notice how your body is in contact with the floor. So can you maybe open out your chest and shoulders a little bit more? Can you get those shoulder blades to anchor down onto the floor? Can you find that heavy pelvis anchoring you down? Finding that movement of the rib cage with your breath here. So as you take a deep breath in, seeing if you can find that expansion of the rib cage side to side and front to back. And then as you exhale, feeling how the rib cage contracts back down. Seeing if you can start to make your breath that little bit longer. Maybe try counting to 4 or to 5 as you inhale this time. You'll know what's comfortable. And then exhaling for the same amount of time. Let's do that a couple of times. So finding that deep breath, getting as much air in as possible. And fully exhaling. Do that one more time. And we're going to float our arms up towards the sky. Let's have palms facing in towards each other. And then I want you to reach your fingertips up towards the sky, letting your shoulder blades lift away from the floor. And then anchoring the arm back into the shoulder socket so those shoulders come back down onto the floor. Let's do this with the breath. So let's inhale as we reach the fingers to the sky, and then exhale as you anchor those shoulders back down into the ground. Let's do that a few times. Again, still staying with that longer breath, your 4 or your 5 count breath. And as you anchor your arms down onto the floor this time, we're going to keep those shoulders anchored and pause there. On your next inhale, let's take those arms overhead this time, so towards the floor behind you, keeping those shoulder blades anchored. And then as you exhale, we're going to float the hands back down, and they're going to come all the way down towards your hips. Let your palms turn to face down as you float the arms down. We're going to go all the way from the hips this time. So as you inhale, turn the palms to face in towards each other as your arms go up and overhead. And then as you exhale, we're going to turn the palms face away from you and press down towards your hips. Again, moving with your breath. Let's create some resistance here. So imagining that you're doing this in some water, in some treacle. So as you float the arms up, there's some resistance there. They're heavy, those arms, you're having to work. And as you press the hands down, press your feet into the floor as well. Let's press the feet, press the palms down. Can you find that connection with your abdominals? Do that again. Inhale as we go up and over. And exhaling, find that resistance. Press the palms, press the feet. And come all the way down. Just pausing there for a moment. We're going to do the same with the arm overs, but we're going to bring the legs into tabletop just to challenge our abdominals a little bit more. So bringing the legs up just one at a time, and then holding there. Okay, let's just do those arm floats again. So inhale as you take your arms up and overhead. And exhale, again, pressing the palms down. Obviously, feet are in the air this time, but find that resistance. Pressing the palms down, finding that connection with your breath and your abdominals. When you're ready, go again. Inhale, arms go up and over. Keeping those ribs connected. We're going to do one more like this. And as your arms come down towards your hips this time, we're going to sweep the arms out to the side to the T position, but we're going to keep the palms facing down towards the feet. Take a breath here, and as you exhale, think again about being in that water as you bring your palms in towards your body. Inhale, just opening the arms out, finding that T position again. And exhale, bringing those arms back in, squeezing in. Open out. Just two more like this. One more time. As your arms come towards your hips this time, we're going to pause. We're going to bend at the elbow and have your palms facing away from you. Have your elbow hovering just off the floor. We're going to just do a little tricep press here. So take a breath in, and as you exhale, again, remember that resistance, but press your arms down, straightening out those arms, palms face towards the floor. Inhale, we're just going to bend at the elbow. And exhale, again, create that resistance, press. Keep going. And you're still connecting to your abdominals here as you exhale and you press. Two more. One more like this. And as you straighten your arms out this time, bring your knees all the way into your chest. Give your knees a little hug. And let's just rock gently side to side, just giving our abdominals a little rest. So we're going to keep hold of one knee now and let your other foot come down to rest on the floor. We're just going to stretch out our legs a little bit here. So we're going to pull that knee in as close towards us as we can, getting real deep into that hip. Just pausing there for a moment, just check in and see how it feels. Notice any resistance, notice any tightness through your hip. And then keeping hold of that leg, let's straighten it up towards the sky. And we're just going to point and flex our foot here. So really looking to get that movement through our ankle. And then let's circle at the ankle. Let's do about 5 in each direction. When you've done your little ankle circles, you're just going to bring your knee into your chest again. And then we're just going to switch legs. So we're going to bring the other knee in this time. Again, just taking a moment to pause, bringing that knee deep in towards your chest. Just see how it feels through your hip. Notice any difference. And then when you're ready, straighten that leg up towards the sky. And again, let's point and flex our foot here. Remember, we want the movement at your ankle joint, not just at your foot. My foot likes to do it. And then let's circle again at the ankle, 5 in each direction. When you've done all of your circles, again, you're just going to bring your knee into your chest, just give it a little hug, and then allow that leg to come down. We're going to go to our strap stretch next, just to continue stretching out these legs a little bit. So placing your strap around one foot, at the base of your toes, and then we're going to straighten the other leg out long. So we've got both legs as straight as possible. Push both heels away and pull the front of the foot towards you so that we're really lengthening the back of those legs. And then let's just hold here. Notice if it's made your pelvis tilt back. So have you brought that leg in so far that your pelvis is tilted? See if you can find that nice level flat pelvis here. Hip bones, pubic bones, same level. And then if it feels okay, let's bring that leg across. So coming across your body, just moving that release to your outer hip. Let's take it out to the side. So bring it into centre first. Slightly turn that leg out from your hip and take it out to the side. So only take that leg out as far as you can. Again, keep your pelvis level. If you go too far, your pelvis will start to tip. So just find your range this morning. And again, we've moved that release now to the inner thigh, so we're releasing the inner thigh. Good job. And then when you're ready, bring that leg back in. So we're going to do our leg circles, and I like to do it with the strap. So we're going to keep that slight turn out. When you're ready, inhale as you bring that leg across your body. Exhale as you circle that leg down, around and up, and pause when you get back into centre. Do that again. Inhale, leg comes across. Exhale to circle down, around and up, and pause in centre. That's 2. Let's do 3 more this way. Try to keep your pelvis as still as you can. So we're trying to free up any tension between the leg and the pelvis so that we're getting nice mobile hips. And that's why we're trying to keep the pelvis super still. When you finish your 5 in that direction, just reverse and go the other way. Always just add in that little pause. That's how we know that we're nice and controlled and we're not just swinging. You're in control. You can make your circle as big or as small as you like. And when you've done your 5 in each direction, you're just going to pause back in that centre, just in that strap stretch position again, just for a moment. And then we're just going to switch and pop the strap onto the other leg. So switching legs. Free leg out long. Both legs as straight as you can. Push the heels away, pulling the front of the foot towards you. And just holding there. Alright, if it feels okay, let's bring that leg across. And then when you're ready, back in through centre, slightly turn it out and take it out to the side. Remember, we're keeping our pelvis level, hip bones are pointing straight up to the sky. Good. Bring that leg back in. We're going to do our circle, so we're keeping that slight turn out and we come across first. So inhale, leg comes across. Exhale to circle down, around and up, pausing in the centre. Inhale across. Exhale, circle down, around and up. Always adding that pause. And again, you can make the circle as big or as small as you feel that you can control. When you've done 5 in one direction, just reverse, let's go the other way. Oh, I think I'm doing bigger circles on this side. When you've done all of your circles, again, you're just going to pause in centre. So if you're not quite there yet, just hang out when you're ready. Good job. Alright, bending that leg in, get rid of your strap. And then just lengthen your legs out long, lengthen your arms out long, and just take a moment here to stretch from fingertips to toes, making yourself as long as you can. Circling your arms out to the sides, bending those knees in. Let's just give those knees a little hug and just roll it out. So we're going to move on to some more of our abdominal exercises now. So when we're doing the abdominal exercises, if you feel that your pelvis is kind of tilting or you're arching and it's bothering your lower back, it's really handy to just pop a folded up towel under your pelvis to allow your pelvis to tilt back so that your back is completely flat on the floor, and it's just going to eliminate that little bit of movement which can really bother your lower back. Because if your lower back is tilting forwards and backwards, your pelvis is tilting forwards and backwards, chances are you're not even accessing and using your abdominals. So don't be afraid to bolster yourself if you want to. Your other option is to use that little kickstand where you make the little triangle with your fingers and pop that under your pelvis. It's just if we're using arms, it's a little bit tricky. So a towel's nice just to give you that tilt back to keep your back flat on the floor. And it's always an option there, and you can use that for any abdominal exercises that you want to. Okay, so we're going to bring both knees into our chest again here. Okay, and then we're going to keep the knees in, but we're going to take our arms down to the floor. And what we're going to do is we're going to go really slowly, but on an inhale, we're going to reach just one leg, really as far away from us as we can. So start to lengthen one leg out, make that leg as long as you can. And then as you exhale, you're just going to pull that leg all the way back in. And we're going to switch and do the same on the other side. So inhale, reach that leg as far away from you as you can, and then exhale to bring it back in. So if you take your legs straight up to the sky, it makes it a little bit easier because it's kind of making the load more over your pelvis rather than it reaching kind of away and then drawing in. I like to kind of go for that high diagonal, that kind of 45 degrees-ish. I feel like that's a happy medium, but play around. You can have the legs higher, you can come lower. I wouldn't want you to go like super low. I kind of like that 45 degrees, that's kind of a nice place. So inhale to reach, exhale to pull it in. Let's do one more. Inhale to reach, and exhale to pull it in. Okay. This time, we're going to inhale, we're going to reach that leg long, and as you exhale, we're going to lower the leg down towards the floor. Inhale as you lift the leg back up to find that high diagonal or wherever you were, and then exhale to pull that leg back in. Same on the other side. So reach the leg long first, lower down. You don't have to come all the way to the floor. If it bothers your back, it makes you move around. Just go as far as you can control it, and then lift the leg back up, and bring the knee back in. We're going to keep switching sides. So this is where you're just noticing, as you start to lower that leg, is your pelvis starting to go with it? Is your back starting to arch? Maybe you need that towel, or maybe you just need to make your range a little bit smaller. It's just being very aware of how your body moves. We're going to do one more of these on each side. When you finish those, you're just going to again bring your knees into your chest for a little hug. And just rock gently side to side. So this is always our reset, to just come back and to bring the knees in. It lets your abdominals relax. So feel free to come back and just do this at any point if you feel like, do you know what, I've done enough of those now, I just want a little rest. That's fine. We're going to do our little frog press now. So again, we're going to bring our hands down to the floor. And we're going to bring our heels together and take our knees out to the side. Find that little froggy position. This time we're going to take a breath in. And then we're going to press the heels away this time as you exhale. So, and then we're going to inhale as we bring the legs in. Just switched our breath around a little bit. So again, as you exhale, I want you to push away as you exhale. And inhale to bend back in. Now if that breath pattern doesn't work for you, feel free to just breathe, however makes sense to your body. I'm kind of aiming for that 45 degrees-ish as I press away and then bend back in. So find where it feels okay for you. And again, you can go kind of straight up, you can go more up towards the ceiling and bend back down. We're going to do two more like this. And then this time, as you press your legs away from you, we're going to hold them there. Just breathe normally now. And we're going to open the legs out wide. And then bring the legs back in together. And then bend the knees back in. So we're just going to add that open, close. So press the legs away. Open, close, and frog back in. Two more like that. Again, just breathe. However makes sense to your body. Just don't want you to stop breathing. We don't want to be holding our breath. And as you bring the knees in this time, let's give them a hug again, just a little reset. Don't want to do too many and start to grip and hold a lot of tension there. So we're going to do our little scissor legs next. we're going to take our legs up towards the sky and we're going to anchor our arms down onto the floor. Again, you're in control. We don't want the pelvis rocking forwards and backwards, so you can control the range and make it small if you want to. But we're going to lower one leg down towards the floor, and then we're going to bring that leg back up and lower the other leg. So we're going to go nice and slow to begin with. One leg at a time, lowers and then lifts. Keep that control, making sure that as your leg goes down, your pelvis isn't going with it. And you might find some exercises easier than others. And if you feel happy with this, you're able to be nice and stable, nice and controlled, you can start to move the legs so as one leg starts to come back up, the other one starts to lower. So it's more like a scissor action rather than that really slow control. But see how it feels for you. If you need to bolster your pelvis or use your little kickstand there, that's kind of nice. Keep breathing, don't hold your breath. One more time. And then bring your knees in. Give your knees a little hug and let's just rock gently side to side. Whew. So glad I put these abdominal exercises in today. Definitely getting warm now. We've got one more real sort of abdominal focused exercise. So this time we're going to take our legs up towards the ceiling and we're going to cross one ankle over the other. So the idea of this one is that we tilt our pelvis towards us and then we start to peel our bottom up away from the floor. So you can have your arms down by your sides or you can use your little kickstand if you want to. So the first thing we want to do is to bring your legs a little bit closer to your nose so that your pelvis is tilted, and then can you just lift your bottom off the floor. So we don't want to be flinging. I want you to think about tilting and then just lifting, like you're rolling downhill. And that's where your little towel would definitely make it a little bit easier. Doesn't have to be a big lift. And even if just bringing your legs towards your nose is enough work for your abdominals today, then do that. Two more. Remember which leg is crossed on top, because we want to switch over in a second, but just bring your knees in for a minute and just have a little, get your breath back, give your abs a little break. And then we're just going to switch the legs over and do exactly the same on the other side. So when you're ready, switch. Same thing, tilting and lifting. Tiniest lift, or like I say, just bringing the legs in. Don't hold your breath here. So I tend to exhale as I lift. Inhale as I move away. Again, just whatever makes sense for your body, but don't hold your breath. Holding your breath is when you try, when you tend to increase the pressure in your abdominals. Let's do one more. And then bend in. Woo! Give your knees a little hug. And just pause there. We're going to take it into a little stag stretch next. So we've got our knees bent in. We're going to straighten one leg out to the side and we're going to bring the other foot to kind of point towards your knee. And then we're going to switch sides, straighten one leg out and bend the other one in. I kind of turn to the camera so you can see what my legs are doing. One leg out, one leg in, and we're just going to keep switching sides. One leg out, one leg in. Nice little inner thigh stretch. A little coordination. It feels nice as well. Let's do one more of these on each side. One leg in, one leg out. One leg in, one leg out. And then bending those legs in. So we're going to bring both feet in. See if you can reach your hands between your knees to grab your feet. So you're like a little cobbler stretch. A little butterfly stretch here. And maybe it feels nice to just gently rock side to side here. If you can't quite reach your feet, you can just kind of hold onto your knees but have them wide. That's fine too. Ooh, good job. Okay, releasing those feet down now. Let's have our feet and knees about hip distance apart. And let's do some spine work. Let's do our spine curl here. So again, we're going to anchor our arms down by our sides. Take a breath in. Tilt your pelvis towards you, and as you exhale, you're going to roll your hips up towards the sky. Pausing at the top to take a breath in again, and then exhaling as you slowly roll down. So you still can have your little bolster under your hips here, but you probably don't need it now. You can take that away. Don't have anything under your head as we do this, just because it will kind of just put your head and your neck in a little bit of a not a happy position. We're just gently rolling up and down, just go at your own pace. Looking for that nice movement through the spine. And keeping your eyes straight up, looking at your ceiling. Let's do 2 more like this. And when you come down on that last one, you're again just going to give yourself a little hug, bringing those knees in. And just rock yourself gently side to side. Okay. We're going to go onto our side for some side leg work next. So when you're ready, coming onto your side. I like to have my head propped in my hands, lining up with the back edge of the mat. I've got my shoulder blades and my hips on that back edge, and then I've kicked my legs forwards to that front edge. You might choose to have your legs out straight or have them forward like me. Either of those is absolutely fine. So we're getting our pelvis stacked so that our hip bones are directly on top of each other and we've not got that top hip rolled back. And we're going to have flat feet. Let's reach that top leg away from us and lift it as high as you can without that pelvis going with it. So we're keeping this length through our waist as we lift and lower that leg. Keep reaching. You're back in your water again, so we've got that resistance. Good. Two more. And then we're going to hold at hip height and we're going to do little circles. Can you brush that bottom foot as you circle around? So we're not doing huge circles here. And then let's reverse and go the other way. Good job. And then just pause in there. So we're going to take it into that devil pay where we stretch out the legs. So we're going to point the toes of that top foot and we're going to slide the toes all the way up this bottom leg, as high up as you can get. Really good for hip mobility. And then we're going to straighten that leg out up towards the sky. And then we're going to flex that foot, so flat foot, and we're going to lower that leg all the way back down. So nice and slow, nice and controlled. So again, we're going to point the toes, we're going to slide that leg up. Your pelvis is going to roll back a little bit, that's fine. We're really working on hip mobility now. Straighten that leg up, flex, and lower all the way down. Good. And again, point the toes, you slide it up. Straighten that leg out, flex, and lower. And again, nice and controlled. Seeing how high you can get. And do one more. It's really tempting, isn't it, to just grab your hands and to pull that leg in even closer. We're going to reverse that and go the other way. So when your foot gets down this time, I'm going to keep that foot flat. I'm going to take it up towards the sky. And then I'm going to point the toe, bend the knee. How high can you get that toe on that bottom leg? And then slide it out long. Once that leg's out long, flat foot again, kick it up. Point the toes, you bring that leg down again. How high can you get those toes? And then slide it out. Let's do 3 more. Kick it up. Point. Slide it down. 2 more. A lot of work for that hip joint, yeah, they're getting tired. Tired about now. And then all the way down. Good job. Let's just stretch out this side before we do the other side. So coming up, you find your seated position for a nice little hip stretch. You're going to bring that leg in towards you. cross it over to the other side, and then twist towards your bent knee. And you use that free arm to scoop that knee in towards you. And remember, you can choose to keep your other leg out long, or if you're feeling particularly bendy today, you can bend that leg to bring that heel around close to your bottom. It just gives you a deeper hip stretch. But don't force it. If it doesn't feel right for you, just keep that leg out long. Okay, we're going to do those little leg series on the other side. So unpress through your legs, and let's go over onto the other side. And just taking a moment to line up, maybe along the back edge of your mat, and then kicking your legs forwards to that front edge, or just finding your ideal position so that your pelvis is nice and level. Flat feet, reach the legs away as far away as you can, and then lift and lower here. Good. Keep reaching, remember you're in your water. We're going to hold it at hip height for circles. Can you brush that bottom foot as you circle around? And then reverse that, go the other way. We're going to do our little devil pay on this side. So again, I'm going to point those toes. So slide those pointed toes as far up that bottom leg as you can. It might be different this side. Straighten that leg up towards the sky, flexing your foot, and then lowering that leg all the way down. Point your toe. Slide it up. Straighten that leg, flex, and lower. So 3 more. Nice and controlled, really good. And then once you've done those, we're going to reverse it and go the other way, so keeping that foot flat to kick it up. And then pointing the toes, you bend the knee, get that toe as high up on that bottom leg as you can before you straighten it out. Flat foot kicks up, point, and come all the way down. Good. We're going to do 2 more. Do our little hip stretch again. So once your leg is out long, we're going to come on up to seated, and we're going to do our little hip stretch on this side. So bring that knee in that you've just been working, cross it over to the other side and twist. And again, either choosing to keep that free leg out long or to bring the heel around towards your bottom and hold there. Take a few breaths. Okay, we're going to go over onto our front next. So when you're ready, release your legs and find your way over onto your front. And we're going to do a little bit of back extension. So let's have our hands one on top of the other and your forehead resting down onto your hands. Pubic bone is anchored into the floor, tailbone slightly tucked to give us some length through our lower back. And you can have your legs together or hip width apart, whichever feels better for you. Take a moment here to roll your shoulders down away from your ears. And on your next inhale, you're going to press your hands into the floor and lift the back of your head and your neck towards the sky. Exhale as you lower down. We're going to keep going with this. So inhale as you press your hands into the floor, lifting your head. And then exhale as you lower back down. So go at your own pace, moving with your breath. And here we're trying to really work the upper back around your shoulders. Now you can stay here with the hands pressing down on the floor. If you want to add a little bit more load, if you feel really happy with this movement, this time you're going to glue your hands to your head. So as you lift your head, your hands are going to also come up. If that makes it too much load and it immediately starts to bother your lower back, then just keep your hands down on the floor and just lift the head. The head is heavy enough as it is, but adding the arms as well just adds that little bit more load. So just see how it feels for you. Let's do one more time. And as you lower down this time, we're going to stay down. We're going to turn our attention now to our lower body for some hip extension. So keeping that pubic bone anchored, keeping that tailbone tucked, we're going to reach one leg away. Make that leg as long as you can, let it lift away from the floor, and then lower down. And switch to the other side, lengthen the leg, let it lift, and lower. Trying to keep that pelvis from tilting as best you can. Keep reaching the leg long. That'll work for your bottom and back of your thigh as well. One more on each side. And as you lower your leg down this time, push yourself up and back to find that rest position, find that child's pose, and give your back a little stretch out here. Okay, so we're going to come onto all fours now. And in fact, we're going to come down onto our elbows and knees. So find your way down onto your elbows and knees. And we're going to stay with a little bit of hip extension, so working our bottom and the back of our thighs. So what I want you to do is bring your right knee, so your knees are about hip width apart now, bring your right knee kind of into the centre, which is just going to make you a little bit more stable. And then I want you to straighten your left leg out long on the floor. Now notice the position of your back here. We want to try and keep your back still. But can you lift now your left leg, that straight leg? Can you lift that leg? And then lower it back towards the floor without moving your back. So we don't want to be lifting it so high that it makes us arch our back. We want to keep the back still. So the only thing that's moving is your leg as you lift and lower that leg. And you can have that foot flexed or pointed. I've just kind of got a soft, relaxed foot. And I'm really focusing on what's happening with my bottom, with the back of my thigh, and making sure that I'm not tilting my back. If you're a rib thruster, check in with those ribs. Make sure those ribs are drawn into your body. Again, that will tempt you to use your low back. All right, pausing as that leg lifts this time, and then can you bend the knee? Now we want a flat foot, and that flat foot is pointing to the sky. Can you push that flat foot towards the sky? And we're going to do little pulses here. So push, push, keep going. 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to do 8, 7, last one, 8. And then we're going to lower that leg, straighten it all the way out, bring it down to the floor, and bring that leg all the way back in. We're just going to switch sides now. So we're going to bring that left knee this time in towards the centre a little bit to make you more stable. And we're going to straighten the right leg out this time. Again, we're going to lift and lower here. So check in with your ribs, check in with your back, making sure that we're not seesawing that back as we lift and lower that right leg. So the only thing moving is your leg. Again, soft foot, or you can point or flex, whatever feels good to you. Let's do 2 more here. And then as you lift that leg this time, again, let's bend at the knee. Flat foot's going to point towards the sky, and we're going to push towards the sky. Push that foot up. Push. Keep going. 4, 5. We're doing 8 again. 6. 2 more. 7. Last one here. 8. Lower the knee. Straighten the leg out long, lowering that leg all the way down, and then bring that leg all the way in. Take your bottom back towards your heels, finding your child's pose here, and just relax down. Staying in this child's pose, we're going to take it into a thread the needle child's pose. So let's do the same side together. Let's do our right hand. Take your right hand, thread it under your left arm, twist it around to bring your shoulder and your ear towards the floor. Now it might not come all the way to the floor, that's absolutely fine. Just find where it is for you. If you're really uncomfortable in this child's pose, feel free to come up a little bit to give yourself a little bit of space. I kind of just like to play around with different positions, just to squish all of our body parts and get as much movement as we can there. Okay, so if you have kind of come up and forwards, bring yourself back to that child's pose position, because we're going to come up to seated. We're going to keep this twist, but when you're ready, we're going to come up to seated. So as you come up, that right hand that's threaded through is going to go towards your knee, and we're going to take that left arm and we're going to wrap it around our back. And then we're in like a twisted position. And we're just going to hold here for a couple of breaths. Good. And in breath, we're going to reach both arms up towards the sky. So inhale, grow tall. Exhale, let's twist towards the other side. And let the hands come down. So this time your right arm is going to go behind your back. Your left hand is going to come to your knee. Hold there for a couple of breaths. Again, we're in that twist. We're going to take ourselves back down to kind of find that child's pose now. So when you're ready, start to lower your body back down towards the floor. So that left arm now is threading through. And then we're going to reach that right arm up and over to bring that right arm forwards back into your normal child's pose position, but with that left arm still threaded through. And then just hold there. And then when you're ready, let's bring that left arm back through, back just into your normal child's pose again here. Both arms reaching forwards and take a couple of breaths. We're going to find our way back over onto our back now. So when you're ready, come on up and let's make our way back onto our back. And this time we're going to have our feet and knees together. And take your arms out to that T position. Rolling your chest and shoulders open. Let's take it into a spine twist here. So keeping the knees together, let both knees roll gently to one side. Coming in through centre, take them over to the other side. Try and keep your shoulder blades anchored. So the twist is just through your waist and your pelvis is twisting, but your rib cage stays still. So we're going to increase the load to make our abdominals work that little bit harder here. Now if you kind of feel like you've had enough, then stay here with the feet down. Otherwise, if you feel okay, let's bring the legs into tabletop. And we're going to do the same thing, both knees roll to one side, in through centre and over to the other side. So again, more load, more work for those abdominals. And again, if you want to increase the load even more, you could straighten those legs out and take the legs, long legs from side to side. Don't go too far. Still want to try and keep our shoulder blades anchored on the floor. Good. And then as you come back in through centre this time, just bend those knees in, give those knees a little hug, and let's just rock gently side to side. Placing your feet back down onto the floor, we're going to keep those knees and feet together, and we're going to roll the knees to one side, let them come all the way down towards the floor. So you might have to roll onto your side, and then we're going to see if we can roll that upper body away. So this time we're keeping the pelvis anchored, and we're twisting the rib cage away. So don't worry if your arm or your shoulder doesn't come down to the floor, that doesn't matter at all. As long as we've got the knees anchored down, we've got something to kind of twist away from. So we're going to hold here for a few breaths. to do the same on the other side. So you might want to roll back onto your side before you roll onto your back. But just safely transition over and let your knees roll to the other side. Again, anchoring those knees down. Once you're happy with that position, start to open out your upper body again, trying to find that T position, noticing if it's different one side to the other. Keeping those knees anchored and just twisting your ribcage away from your pelvis, uncoupling all of that tension, giving us much more flexibility through our waist. I'm going to go back to the first side again. So again, you might want to kind of roll onto your side before you transition onto your back. And I'm going to roll the knees again to the other side. Now this time, instead of having the knees bent to the side, we're going to straighten those legs out. So make those legs as straight as you can. And then again, can you start to roll your upper body back to find that T position? So you can kind of play around with the legs, you can kind of have them a little bit more straighter and out towards the bottom of your mat. You can kind of bring them out much more to like a 90-degree right angle. Feel free to kind of have a little move around with those legs and see where feels best for you. Good. And then bending those knees, bring the knees in. We're going to do the same on the other side. So when you're ready, bent knees, take them over to the side. Once the knees are down, you're going to straighten the legs out. And again, you can kind of play around with how high those legs are. 90 degrees or kind of a little bit straighter out towards the bottom of your mat. And then twisting your upper body away. Trying to find that T position. Holding there. Real big twist. Kind of like these floor twists because we're using gravity to help assist us to get us these real nice deep twists. Good job. When you're ready, bend the knees in and make your way back onto your back. And then bring your knees into your chest, one at a time, and just rock gently from side to side there. We're going to go back over onto our hands and knees again. We're going to find our cat-cow just to kind of give our spine a little bit of nice movement there. So when you're ready, make your way back onto your hands and knees. Fingers spread wide. Thumbs point towards each other and elbow pits are forwards. Take a breath and as you exhale, tuck your bottom under. Really rounding your spine. Make your back as rounded as you can. Pausing at the top for a breath in. And then we're going to go the other way. So exhale, stick your bottom out this time. And again, roll through your spine. Your head is always the last thing to move. Just go at your own pace. Letting that movement ripple up your spine like a wave. And then as you come through centre this time, we're going to come up and find a seated position. And in fact, we're going to find a 90-90 seated position. So we're going to have one leg bent in front and one leg bent behind. And then we're going to take our hands down to the floor behind us. And we're going to pivot. We're going to lift the knees to bring the soles of the feet down to the floor. And then we're going to turn the knees to the other side. And kind of find that 90-90-ish position on this side. And then again, leaning into your hands as you take your list. It's windscreen wipers, isn't it, but seated. So let's just do that a couple of times. So really getting into those hips. It's nice to lean back on your hands because it's giving you more space through the front of your hip. So if your hips are quite tight, that's a nice way to find that. As you roll your knees to one side this time, hold there. So whichever way your feet are pointing, you've got one hand down. So I'm not saying this very well, Emma. Let me think about the way I'm saying this. So I've got my feet pointing to my left. So I'm going to lift my left hand. If your feet are pointing to your right, you're going to use your right hand. And we're going to bring that arm around and we're going to reach and we're going to stretch as far around as we can. So we're twisting away from those legs. And then we're going to bring the arm back in. We'll do the same on the other side. So again, twist and reach. Think about spiraling your body or reaching as far away from your legs as you can. Twist and reach. This time, as you twist and you reach, bring that hand down towards the floor, and then maybe you can round your body towards the floor and just hold there for a breath. When you're ready, come back up and try that on the other side. Twist and reach, and then again bringing your hand towards the floor and lowering your body down, just holding there. Let's just do that one more time on each side. And then when you're ready, just come back up and just find a seated position. So just a position that feels okay for you. We're only going to be here for a minute, but just making sure however you choose to sit is not going to get you creating a lot of stress. Okay, let's just do some little shoulder rolls here. So let's just loosen off our shoulders before we finish. And you roll your shoulders the other way. Let's do some little head turns. Good. And I'm just going to take it into a couple of little body twists. So just gently twisting to one side, pausing for a moment, twisting to the other side. We've just done quite a bit of twisting. That's nice and gentle, nice and easy. Let's take it into a side bend. So coming in through centre. Taking one arm up towards the sky, other hand can come to the floor if it can reach, and let's just take it over into a little side bend. You should be able to do this no matter what position you've chosen to have your legs in. So if you've got your knees bent and your feet flat, you can still side bend, or legs out long, whatever works for you. Let's just do a couple more little side bends here. One more time. And then coming up and releasing your hand down. You are all done.